Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another space hosted by Afro Elite. I am going to mute myself because I'm going to take a few moments to put some things on the Jumbotron. I feel like this is going to be a very, very interesting and well needed conversation. I'll be right back. Okay. If you're watching this from the beginning, you can also check this out at Afro Elite on YouTube. But I wanted to have this conversation because I've recently had a Twitter space where I talked about intersectionality in the Black community, and some Black LGBT brothers and sisters came up, and they were talking about the struggles um, that specifically apply to Black LGBT people, and some of their talking points were used, or I would say given to them by the dominant society. In the jumbotron, as you can see, the Joe Biden, as the Biden administration hands out thousands, is willing to pay thousands to victims of anti-gay discrimination. Okay, and you had Black LGBT defending this, saying that, oh no, that's not reparations, or why can't we fight for both? Why don't they deserve reparations too for the discrimination that they got? But if you actually read the article and look into it, um, the article is so vague, the qualifications are so vague, they can literally pick and choose. And I will put the link to it in the comments of that. So if you guys actually want to go and look it up yourself, you guys can do that. But the qualifications are so vague, they can pick and choose who it applies to. Um, which means they're only going to apply that to gay white men, LGBT white people. It's not going to go at all to LGBT black people. But you have LGBT black people who have smoke and who will defend because they feel like, oh, I'm gay, so this applies to me too. This applies to me too because I'm gay, so I'm going to get some money as well. But it doesn't apply to you. And the white LGBT, like in the title says, the white LGBT uses the black LGBT as pawns. So we have black LGBT people out here caping and defending Joe Biden's gay reparations when they won't get any. And see, this is the reason why I make this space, because you have black LGBT people out here as the mascots under the banner of this is for LGBT anti-homophobia discrimination, when all they're doing is working for benefits that only the dominant society is going to reap. Only the dominant white society is going to reap the benefits of the black LGBT. There's discrimination in the black LGBT community, and they will all tell you that. There's still racism in that community. They will all tell you that. Okay. But the white LGBT, they'll cheer you on and talk about, oh, yeah, you know, um, this is about homophobia. This is about combating homophobia. This is about pushing equality in the LGBT community. And you'll have black LGBT fighting for the rights of white LGBT and not knowing that they're getting played. Okay, and this is why I make this space. And shout out to everybody in here. If you guys could share, so we can have more people coming in, I would greatly appreciate that. Okay. Um, you have the dominant society pushes forth messages as if they support the black LGBT when they are really actually racist towards you, and they're having you, and they're mind controlling. And I'm not saying, let me state this now, this doesn't apply to every single black LGBT person, but this applies to a decent number of them, a large number of them. You'll have the dominant society put forth narratives that has the Black LGBT going against Black society, that they use that as a cover to attack Black society under the guise of homophobia. If we go to the clip in the Jumbotron, if you look at the clip of Billy Porter is having a video addressing the homophobia, the quote unquote homophobia. And I'm saying quote unquote because he's never specified exactly the homophobia. And I will get into that in a minute. He goes off talking about the homophobia in the Black community um is equal to white supremacist, is equal to how white supremacy treats um Black people. Okay, and on so many levels that's wrong. Number one, let me start why I say quote unquote, because Black people do not have any power, especially straight Black men, which is what the LGBT community attacks the most. Straight Black men do not have any power to oppress anybody. If you look up the definition of oppression, and actually let me put this on the Jumbotron. Let me put this on the Jumbotron so we can have a clear definition of that. Let me read it real quick. Oppression, prolonged, cruel, or unjust treatment or control. That is the definition of oppression. Okay. Straight Black men do not have any power to collectively oppress anybody because we do not have the power to control anything. The most that we can do against the LGBT community is name call, is say we don't, and this doesn't even apply for just literally name call. When they talk about, and I'm not saying that that's cool. So you guys know, somebody's like, oh, you're saying that that's cool. I'm not saying that that's cool. I'm not saying name calling in general is cool. But if name calling is the extent of your power, then how can somebody oppress you? Because when Black people talk about oppression and discrimination against white society, we don't stop at name calling. We would be jumping up and down gleefully if name calling was the extent of our problems. We can deal with name calling. Name calling is not our problems. Real life oppression is our problem. And what we have is we have Black LGBT, and I'm not, like I said again, I'm not saying that name calling is cool. I'm not saying that you know that's acceptable. I'm saying that that's the extent of the discrimination that straight Black people can give, because it's not like we can discriminate against housing or loans or marriage licenses or anything like that. We can't discriminate. Hold on, let me put this on a Jumbotron real quick. uh hold on. Okay, I'm just gonna put this up real quick just so I can put this on the Jumbotron. So we don't have that power to do that. We don't. And you'll have the Black LGBT, they'll go specifically after the straight Black men before they go after anybody. I posted the clip about Billy Porter comparing black straight Black men to white supremacists, and saying that he's faced discrimination his whole life. Never stated where he's faced discrimination. Because the thing is, when you ask them what discrimination, if you ask a Black LGBT person, what discrimination have they faced specifically from the Black community, they can talk about name calling, they can talk about to an extent being ostracized or rejected, which, like I said in the beginning, I'm not saying that that's a good thing. I'm not saying that that's a good thing. I'm not saying name calling or ostracizing any. I'm not saying that that's a good thing, but they can't say, "Oh, I was a Black person discriminated against me at the bank. A Black person discriminated against me at the school. I couldn't get this school loan. I couldn't get this housing loan, this business loan." They can't say I was pulled over because I was gay. They can't say those things. Okay. Somebody just requested to speak. Hold on for 1 second. Let me. Um, somebody just. Okay, I was about to say. Okay, they can't say those things. Then Billy Porter goes off on Black cis people talking about the deaths of trans people. Now, let me state for the beginning, I'm not, I don't approve of anybody harming anybody because of their sexuality. I don't approve of anybody murdering anybody because of their sexuality or what they want to identify as or anything like that. But he says cis CIS, meaning non-transgender black men. He says cisgendered black men are harming trans men at a disproportionate level. It's going crazy, and he was going off. But the thing is that he's not going to mention is the fact that most transgender people who are harmed and killed are harmed by other LGBT people. Just because you are quote unquote cisgendered, which means you are born a male and you identify as a male, does not mean you're straight. So he's trying to twist the words up and make cis synonymous with straight, but it's really gay on gay crime. That's just really the hold on. That's just really what that is. And he's saying
Facts.
that, and he's pointing the finger at straight black men. And I asked the question, has anybody ever seen Billy Porter go off like that on white supremacy ever at all? Now you'll have Billy Porter sitting up there on a red carpet looking like a clown, like straight up looking like a clown. He's the goofiest looking person on the red carpet in a dominant society, because this is what white people do. They love clapping their hands when they see something embarrassing, and black people are too dumb to realize.
Facts.
They love that joke. If you guys have ever seen the movie Carrie, with that, it's a school, I don't know if this was middle school or high school or something, where everybody in the school was playing a joke on her, like, oh, this guy really likes you, but everybody knew he really didn't, and they were all trying to prank her. That's kind of like how they like to joke. They
That's
like
they
to
get down.
Exactly, they like to praise people and act, oh my god, you look so great in this tuxedo dress that you're wearing. Oh my god, you just look amazing in this tuxedo dress. And then when they turn their heads, they're cracking up, they're crying, laughing at you. And Billy Porter has no problem being the joke of the red carpet. He's the only. Now, the reason why I say this, because people say, oh, he can wear what he wants to wear. Have you ever seen a gay white man ever dress as cartoonishly goofy as Billy Porter or Little Nas X, for that matter, on the red carpet? I'm not talking about in some type of music video where you can say, oh, this is my artistic expression. I'm talking about on the red carpet when everybody else is looking like an adult. They'll have the gay black people out there looking like clowns. And if you say
Clowns.
anything, then you're deemed homophobic. Okay, and they don't know that the white LGBT is using the black LGBT as pawns. You guys are looking like clowns in comparison to them, because they would never allow the white LGBT to go out there looking like that. They don't embarrass their white LGBT like that. They don't. You've never seen that before. You've only seen the humiliating subjugation of LGBT when it's a black person, specifically a black man. They love doing that. That's a part of buck breaking as well. They used to in during slavery times, to buck break the slaves, the male slaves, they would humiliate the male slaves by openly raping them in public in front of their families and in front of other slaves. And they would have the male slaves, they would castrate their male slaves, and they would put their male slaves in dresses. Okay, this is all history. Now you have black people wearing dresses because white people are telling them to, and then they're getting the clap from white people, and they're thinking that that's progressive. No, that's not progressive at all. The black LGBT is getting played by the white LGBT, and they can't see that. Now I want to talk about something else, and then PC, I'll let you talk. You have the demonization and the straight black man, or the white people of black people, has no factual basis at all. Okay, no factual basis whatsoever. When you go look at the list, if you actually go to look at the list of the things that he deems um makes us the white people. Now, white people can literally oppress black people. There's literal discrimination. They can strip you, and I put the description of oppression, I mean the definition of oppression, in the jumbotron. By the definition of oppression, which is why it's important for us to know definitions, by the definition of oppression, the straight black man does not have the capability to oppress anybody in his own community. Okay. He's talking about oppression. We have privilege because um all we hear about in school is Martin Luther King, and we don't hear about other black women in the civil rights movement as much. And first off, that can be taken as his personal opinion, first of all, because they're talking about putting Harriet Tubman on the dollar bill, which of course, I have nothing but respect and love for Harriet Tubman, but that's just empty symbolism. Or not the dollar bill, the $20 bill. They're not talking about putting a black man on the $20 bill. They're talking about putting a black woman on the $20 bill. So they're always trying to fake prop black women to say, well, black men, you guys have had this for the longest. You guys have had all of these privileges and rights, and you guys have misused all of your privileges and rights to mistreat other black women and LGBT black people. Okay. And they give you the list, and most of the things on the list, he's talking about how porn is he talks about how porn is like the male audience is the most people who watch porn, literally in his list. And that doesn't just apply to black men anyway, but in his list. And you have black LGBT sharing that, like, yeah, you see, the straight black man is just so toxic, so bad. And you have white LGBT people boosting this stuff up on the algorithm. They give these Sambos and Coons platforms so they can go against the straight black man as a form of, number one, division and infighting in the black community, and number two, or I'm gonna say number two, not as necessarily unimportant, as buck breaking. Okay. And this, like I said in the beginning, this does not necessarily apply to every single black LGBT person, but they are using majority, or the majority of the ones who are spokespeople, who are the ones who speak out against anti-LGBT discrimination, like the Joe Biden thing. A majority of the black LGBT people who are pushing the Joe Biden's gay reparations are being completely duped because it's not going to apply to the black LGBT. And we have a problem because we have too many black LGBT people who think that their sexuality is a bigger factor in their life than their race is. So when we tell them they need to be race first, they'll say, well, I can't ignore the fact that I'm gay. I can't ignore that because the white LGBT puts this bastardized concept of intersectionality in too many black people's minds. So they think that whatever their intersection is as important as their race, which is not. PC, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, you speaking nothing but facts. One thing I want to add to that is that I think that so the if I like to make I believe that it's not that they don't know. It's not that the black LGBT are unaware. I think that they're absolutely aware. They're just choosing to ride with them people against us. You dig what I'm saying? Like, I know a lot of people, they like, oh, well, they don't know. Granted, our people tend to be really on some uh, you know, easily misled. I'll say it like that. But I think many of them LGBT black people, they know what they're doing. They know that they're being used to as a tool to help promote destruction and strife in the community, and they riding with it. They was like, "Huh, we riding with the boss man." You dig what I'm saying? So that's how I like to make sure go at the problem. Now you doing it on purpose. It ain't that. Oh, well, I don't know. No, you riding with them. Let it be known, and we gonna have you riding with them. We gonna have to treat you like them. That's how I see it. But you speaking facts.
Thank you. Thank you. And he's definitely right. A lot of them, and let's be honest, they talk about the homophobia in the black community. It's time to address the anti-straight black man hatred that a lot of these LGBT black people have. Specifically the LGBT, the gay black men. And this is not to say all, because I don't want anybody, because a lot of people will come to my DMs after my live but won't say anything. This is not to say all, but this is to say there is an anti-straight black man push by gay black people, and nobody wants to address it. Nobody is brave enough to really sit down and address it. Now, if any LGBT black people are in here and they would like to speak, I will respectfully allow you to come and speak, and we can have a conversation about this. Because the thing is that I see the bigger picture. I see the fact that you guys are being played, and you're being played, and you can't see that because the dominant white society is telling you to see your sexuality first. Okay, they're sitting up there making it seem like your sexuality is the biggest factor in your life when it's not. It's your race. I had a disagreement with a black gay person a few days ago on Space, where he was talking about how black trans people are killed and nobody protests for them. Nobody does anything. Nobody has a protest for them because they're trans or because they're gay, when it's not because they're gay, it's because they're black, and the racist dominant society doesn't want protest for any black person. So when you see a black man have a protest, more than likely that black man is only in a protest because he was killed on camera. Torian Rain is in here. I'm gonna let him speak. You gotta mute yourself, bro.
Hey, what's going on, Jay? Yeah, I saw that you had this space, and I definitely had to say something. I don't know how long you've been up because I just came on, but I don't know if y'all heard about it or not. But today, I believe it was today, down in Florida, they just passed that bill called the "Don't Say Gay" bill. I think that's what it's called. I think that's what it's called. And the reason why I'm saying that or talking about this is because you have a lot of black people who are, as I like to call it, in the academy, who love to say that black people are the most homophobic. And I said that's very possible because we're not the ones passing policy to hinder you from doing whatever it is that you're trying to do. I said, how much you want to bet it was not one black person in that room when they decided to pass that bill? Keep in mind, this is Florida we're talking about. This is the same Florida that has one of the most whitest bills on the table with stand your ground, telling people that bill doesn't work for black people. They also have Ron DeSantis down there as their governor, who was the same person who passed the bill that I call the white fragility bill. Basically, if you hurt white people's feelings by telling them about themselves, then you're out of line. So this doesn't surprise me that they actually passed a bill like this. And also keep in mind a few years ago when they had the All-Star game, when they were going to have the All-Star game in Charlotte, and they ended up at the last minute moving it to New Orleans because of that bathroom bill, or I think it was like the trans, like allow the trans to use the restroom or something like that in North Carolina, and they didn't pass it again. There was no black people on that board passing that bill, so it really irks me when I hear black people who are a part of that community say that black people are the most homophobic when we're not the ones passing policy to hinder you from doing something on a more bigger level. And also keep in mind too, when they passed the law for, same-sex marriage, under the Obama administration, who were the ones who was in the camera the most? It was mainly white gay couples, mostly white male gay couples at that. So they're pretty much letting you know right off rip how they feel about you. You are pretty much nothing more than the mascot that they trot out there in order to push whatever it is that they want. But once they get what they want, then they have no use for you anymore. And I'm almost certain, without the shadow of a doubt, that there is racism that goes on in that community. As a matter of fact, I was watching a video last year, and y'all heard of this person named Funky Dineva, but I call him Funky Degenerate for multiple reasons. And they basically, when that whole DaBaby situation happened at that festival, and what he said and everything like that, and how a lot of the people in the community came, in that community, they came after him. A lot of black people, in that community came after him. And he said out of his own mouth, and I'll never forget it, that they would have never gotten that far of a push of quote unquote almost canceling him if Elton John did not come out and say anything. And I said, oh, that's very telling because, Elton John, when he came out and said something, and that's when stuff started to move. But when the black people there was saying something, it just fell on deaf ears. So he basically let the cat out of the bag that they can't move anything until somebody who is white in that community, especially with someone who has a name like Elton John, says something, and then that's when stuff gets done. They're letting you know right there, you can lead with your sexuality all you want, but at the end of the day, you were just under the umbrella of nigger to them in America. You just happen to have another umbrella that has multiple colors attached to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Y'all should follow him if you guys have not done so already. Um, but to touch up on your point about Elton John has ignored a lot of homophobia from the white community. Elton John, I remember specifically Eminem has been known to make homophobic comments, and Elton John has a very close relationship with Eminem and has never called Eminem out on his homophobic comments, which was way worse than what the baby had said. And a lot of people say what the baby said was taken out of context, but Elton John doesn't call out these big celebrities that call out homophobia. You don't really see them going after other white celebrities who call out homophobia like that or
Exactly.
who say anything like that.
Can I interject, Apple?
Who said that? Oh,
Is it?
JDW.
Yeah. How you doing? How you doing, brother?
Yeah, I'm good. How
Taween,
are you?
what's going on, Taween? How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yo, first of all, Elton John has the keys to the kingdom when it comes to the LGBTQ community. I can't name one black celebrity slash athlete slash singer who has said some homophobic remarks, and Elton John never put out a tweet regarding calling them homophobic. But Eminem, and speaking of Eminem, he's got to be the most luckiest entertainment slash rapper I've ever seen, because he got his redemption story from losing his best friend Pooh to be controversial with those homophobic remarks back in the early 2000s. When Elton John co-signed the fact that he should be forgiven, it was a wrap for all black athletes and entertainers when it comes to getting redemption from the LGBTQ community. That's why I got to give a shout out to Dave Chappelle, because Dave Chappelle was standing on 10, and every single attempt against Dave Chappelle has failed. And I got to give it props to Elton John. He didn't say anything regarding the situation with Dave Chappelle because he knows. I mean, let's keep it real. The reason why Dave Chappelle is getting all the support from these so-called white fans is because white people hate gay people just because they're gay. You don't see black people going to gay clubs, and I'm in New York, West Village, and sticking pipes up their asses. Excuse my language. You don't see them black people killing gay people simply because they're gay. As a matter of fact, we're the only group of people in this country that embrace homosexuality within the churches, within the households. I don't know a black person who doesn't have a gay cousin. I had a gay cousin. He's no longer here with us. He was murdered in an armed robbery gone wrong, and they labeled a hate crime on his assailant. May he rest in peace. Okay, you can't go to the white community and get that same sentiment. You'll be a laughing stock, and everybody knows that. So when it comes to Elton John, he can't. He doesn't. Elton John may be one of the greatest entertainers of all time, but he has nothing compared to Dave Chappelle. He can't go after Dave Chappelle at this moment. He does have the power to do so, but he's waiting. He's sitting back and observing the situation. He's waiting for Dave Chappelle to make a mistake where he can go do and go for the kill. Because
Um,
Dave Chappelle's.
Yeah, to touch up on the Dave Chappelle thing, one of the things that make Dave Chappelle so powerful in this moment is because Dave Chappelle has said what he said, and he's not backtracked or taking it back, and he's not giving like multiple apologies. See, that's when you say what you say and you stand on it. And Dave Chappelle is a comedian, to be honest, so it's like the I would say the bar is a little bit higher when it comes to what a comedian can say versus like an average person, especially if you're on a stand-up show and you tell a joke, you know. But since Dave is not apologetic for it, I mean, he's not like dissing nobody, but he's not apologetic for it. That's the thing that bothers them so much, because they
Exactly.
can't make him like beg for mercy because he doesn't want it from them.
Exactly. He's in his own lane. I mean, I see Kevin Hart. I seen the Cannon. I seen a lot of comedians apologize not once but multiple times. How do you apologize about something you already did 10 years ago? That's what, I don't feel. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about me. I don't feel sorry for no black man or woman who apologizes about to white people about something that happened 10 years ago. Like really? That's
Yeah.
like
Now, um, I'm gonna let's so we can keep it rotating a little bit. Let me get and I fully agree with your point, JDW, brother. But let's get Sierra on here. Sierra, you can unmute yourself.
Thank you. I just wanted to comment real quick about because I am in Florida, and I think you can expand this whole white LGBT thing to mean white liberals in general. Even with this whole quote unquote "Don't Say Gay" bill, which is not even called that technically. Technically, the bill is not doesn't say that, but the white liberal media kind of ran with that as the name, even though that's not actually the name of it. And also, to my understanding, I have not read completely the bill word for word, but to my understanding, it's only speaking about elementary school age kids not having sexual based content or being taught sexual based content. Period. I don't think it even says specifically whether it's uh, LGBT related or it's being just sexual related in general. But it's been kind of through the media, it's been kind of made to mean something else. And I think that they use, of course, like a lot of the black, not necessarily LGBT in general, but some of the pundits, um, they'll use them to kind of push whatever that narrative is, even if it's not even specifically talking about that. But they just run with they'll just slap a label on something and run with it, and then use members of our community, the black community in general, to push that narrative. And also, just another quick point with the whole like Brittany Griner situation, right? With Brittany Griner, the basketball player, being in Russia, they have tried to kind of, I'll say, like crowbar her sexual identity into the reason why she needs to get home. When, of course, I think she needs to get home, of course, absolutely. But I just think it's funny how some of the people who are saying, well, we'll get her home because she's a queer black woman. Um, if she was a black man with the same in the same position, same history that she had, it would have been something totally different. They would have been saying, leave him there, right? I don't know if people know like some of the background of her history. You can look it up, but I just wanted to just say that real quick. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You know, you would have had a lot of people like, "Oh, that's what he." If it was a black man, because black men get the book thrown at us, we don't get forgiven for anything ever. So if it was a black man, they would have been like, "Well, leave him to the Russians." But they're ignoring her history of domestic abuse because of her sexuality. You know, and nobody wants to bring that up. So you make a good point. Um, so we can have a little bit of order. If anybody wants to speak, they can have their hands up. If anybody wants to say anything, you guys can put your hands up in that order. But I want to touch on something else too. Um, you guys know Caitlyn Jenner, who was previously Bruce Jenner, but Caitlyn Jenner, I think I forgot what year. I think it was like 2017 or 16. Won Woman of the Year award, and this was a year after Bruce Jenner's transgender transformation, where he got the sex transformation or whatnot. But after that, Bruce Jenner or Caitlyn Jenner, whatever, got into a car accident, and killed somebody because he was texting and driving, or she was texting and driving, or whatever. I don't know. Was texting and driving, and somebody died because of that, and nobody wanted to address that. And then next thing you know, Caitlyn Jenner is the quote unquote Woman of the Year award. Now, I want all the black LGBT people to realize, if that was you, if you killed somebody by texting and driving, they're not going to defend you because of your sexuality. You guys are cheering these things on. You guys are cheering things on, but y'all don't understand that that stuff is not going to apply to you. It's not. Now, let's let I think PC had his hand up, then Torian. and then Cosmic.
And Torian can go.
Okay.
Okay, cool. I'm glad, Jay. I'm so glad that you brought that up because that was like the one of the biggest finesses I had ever seen in like the last 10 years. When I saw that because Bruce, as I call him, Bruce Lynn Jenner was transitioning or getting ready to do that transition to becoming a quote unquote woman, and then that accident happened. They killed somebody. They stopped talking about it. I don't even know what they were charged with. And the thing is, he quickly transitioned because Caitlyn Jenner did not cause the accident or was not the one in the accident. It was Bruce Jenner. So since Bruce Jenner no longer exists, that kind of like pushed him out of the way. And then in comes Caitlyn Jenner. And then, like you said, at the ESPYs, they got an award for courage for doing a transition. I said that's what I said. The bar is so low, it is practically in the lower room. If that's courageous, but I guess. But I'm gonna take it a little further back. And some of y'all on here are old enough to remember this. Who in here remembers when Brandy, the singer Brandy, got into that accident that almost derailed her career a few years ago, and she accidentally killed somebody? Brandy the
Torian,
singer.
I was just looking at it right now.
Okay,
Jeez.
back I think it was like the early 2000s when Brandy got into a car accident and somebody ended up dying. Man, you would have thought this woman committed a domestic terrorist attack with the way that the white media came at her hard, calling her all types of murderers. Her career needs to be done away with. She literally got the same type of treatment that Janet Jackson got after the Super Bowl. Except, of course, Janet didn't kill anybody or get in an accident where somebody died. But she got that same kind of treatment. And they came at her hard to the point where Brandy literally had to take a break in her career, acting, singing, or whatever it was, and kind of had to rebuild herself the way that Janet did. And especially when she was on top of the world. And the family of the victim came out and said it was just an accident. She didn't mean it. Brandy was not on any drugs. She was not intoxicated. It was just an accident. And to be honest, it wasn't even the accident itself that killed the victim. I think the victim had a heart attack from, the impact. And I think the heart attack is what killed the victim. So it wasn't the impact of the car crash itself. And the family even came out and said, like ease off of her, because they were trying to tell the family to sue her and get all her money. Like it was a mess at that. Like I remember that vividly because I was old enough to remember it. And I'm like, they came hard and harshly at this woman who was a naturally born woman. But then when Bruce Lynn Jenner, as we now know him, or them, or it, or whatever pronoun they prefer to be called, when they did it, then it got brushed under the rug. They don't even talk about that anymore. A lot of people probably didn't even know that happened. But one other thing that he has on his side, or their side, is the fact of who they're connected with, the Kardashians. And we all know they can find a way to get this stuff swept under the rug. I always tell people, the Kardashians is nothing but a coven of witches. And Kris Jenner is the supreme. Those of you who watched season 3 of American Horror Story know exactly where those references come from. And that's all I got for right now.
I appreciate that, brother. Brother Cosmic, you can unmute yourself.
Hey, you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to chime in and say yes, answer the question yes. They use as pawns, and it's with the same rhetoric and the same way they use black women against black men. Let's subtract what's different about you and bond it to us in this party and integrate you into this kind of society and then use you to fight the black people for us. That's the same thing. And this, I forgot the lady name, but she wrote a whole book about how black men are so oppressive to black women and this and that. And it's the same rhetoric that we see black um, LGBT men use against straight black men. And it was the same thing back then. They weren't saying, oh, gay men are so oppressive. It was about the masculine, straight black men who were fighting for the liberation of their people. So I just wanted to say that, and I feel like the Bruce thing had more to do with him being white and rich too. You know, I don't know if he would if they would have been black, if that would have went down the same way. But yeah, that's all I want to say.
Thank you. Making a good point. Good point. Um, JDW, you can unmute yourself.
I just wanted to add on regarding the whole situation with the Kardashians and the Bruce Lynn Jenner, as Tony would say. The mother, Kris Jenner. First of all, there's a question I need to ask you, Apple. Why is Kris still calling herself Kris Jenner? Didn't she divorce from Bruce years before he transitioned?
I believe. I mean, I'm not like super. You know the show Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I don't
Mm-hmm.
really do that like that. But I believe they were. I believe that they were divorced for like years before the transition. I know sometimes I think legally you can't keep um your name. You can't keep your last name even if you are divorced.
Oh yeah,
So
that's
if
true.
you know
Yeah,
you get married, you
especially in the
can.
state of California. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Oh,
so that's probably, and she got her fame from him. So
mm-hmm.
most likely she wouldn't want to separate that last name,
Facts.
you know.
But
So
but people are not realizing that Kris Jenner or Kris Kardashian is literally the greatest pimp of all time. Let's just keep it real. You want to talk about pimping? She is the pimp of the pimp. She out pimp all the pimps you can even think of back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. The way she pimped her daughters to stardom. You can't name me one thing that they did instead of being a reality TV show or show star that made them billionaires. Because every single last one of them are billionaires, except Courtney, I believe. I think Courtney Kardashian's not a billionaire. Khloe Kardashian is a billionaire. Uh, 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 Kylie and Kendall, billionaires. Kim, of course. And they have done nothing but participate in a reality show. And let's keep it real. That show should have been canceled years ago. But like I said before, when you look at primetime television, they always find a way to keep TV shows on air and throw it at your face, throw it at your face, throw it at your face, knowing that no matter how low the ratings are. So going back to the comparison between um, Brandy and Kate and Bruce and Jenner, Brandy never deserved that. Okay, when Brandy dropped her album for the first time since her first album since the car accident, they ensured that she never got to the fame that she had before. Because let's be real, Brandy is way better than Beyonce. Don't at me. I always loved Brandy as a way better R&B singer than Beyonce. Brandy was already dropping multi-platinum albums way before Beyonce was in Destiny's Child. Let's keep it a buck, people. And they ensure that she never reached that level again. And it's unfortunate. And that's all I have to say at this point.
um, good points, brother. Good points. We have a new speaker up. Eric Allen. If you have something to say, you can unmute yourself.
I just want to address a couple of things that were said. Thank you for this time. So, concerning Kris Jenner's last name, any woman who has married a man and has had children with him or has established herself business wise can keep his name. She's no longer Mrs., but she becomes a Miss or Ms. Um, that's the one thing. And then the other thing I don't know if it's been addressed here. Gay white people are some of the most racist people I have ever encountered in my life. So when we have black people defending the LGBTQIA plus community, um, they're doing themselves a disservice. And the thing about it is that black people don't have to fight specific rights for anybody else because when we fight for ourselves, everybody else wins anyway. And that's all I wanted to say.
Mm, okay, thank you. Something else I wanted to say too. The way the dominant society manipulates the black LGBT against the rest of the black society. Do you guys remember about a year ago when they were having the quote unquote Asian hate wave, and everybody was talking about stop Asian hate, and all of these Asians were, bandying together, and they put their differences aside, and they were all under like, oh my God, Asians are just getting attacked. We're just getting beaten up left and right by black people. They specifically called out black people for it. Do you guys recognize how the Asians never separated themselves based off of sexuality? They didn't turn stop Asian hate into stop gay Asian hate, stop trans Asian hate. They didn't say stop women Asian hate, or gay Asians matter. They didn't do anything like that, because they understood that, hey, this the purpose of what we're doing with the stop Asian hate. Even though I've made programs, I'm sure pretty much everybody in the new black media has made programs saying that was fake, that was a false, but they all bandied together under that. But you had in the black community, under the guise of like Black Lives Matter, which turned from like we're against police brutality and the murder of police, on the murder of black people by police, that turned into, okay, well, now you have to accept everybody's sexuality, otherwise you don't support Black Lives Matter. Then it turned into Black Trans Matter, Gay Black Lives Matter, All Lives Matter, which all of these other subgroups of quote unquote Black Lives Matter had nothing to do with the police. All Lives Matter, that's actually separating what the topic is. You don't see any other community doing that. You don't see that happening. So that's an important thing for us to realize, is that you got Black LGBT out here being the mascots and the spokespeople, um for something, when they're going against the betterment of their own race. You did not see Asians do that. When any other group go, like Ukraine, they're talking about Ukraine now. You don't see Ukrainians talking about support gay Ukrainians, support trans Ukraine. They don't separate themselves. Only the blacks in black society do we think our intersectionality, quote unquote, gives us the right to separate ourselves. But let me allow Cosmic, you can unmute yourself. Cosmic,
Yeah, I
can you
just
hear us?
wanted
You
to
can
say
unmute
that.
yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
I just wanted to say that's just another tactic of divide and conquer, and it's not that we did it ourselves. It's that we were raised and visually and taught these things. Like we've been brainwashed to divide ourselves. That way we can't. That divides our power. And it's just so silly. Like if you think like if it was like rabbits and wolves, for instance, just a crazy example, but you think they'll be like, oh, I'm a female rabbit, you're a female wolf, so let's join together. Or I'm a LGBT wolf, I'm a LGBT rabbit, let's join together instead of let's all just get together and fight the wolves supremacy or whatever. No, if they did that, if they convinced the rabbits, let's just divide you and find our similarities to move you over to our side, so you can fight the other, rabbits and help us eat all of you. Then they'll be successful and they'll never get anywhere. But that's all I wanted to say.
And to touch up on your point, I got that makes me think of a good analogy. You know how you have, speaking of wolves, you know how wolves eat sheep, right? Um, would it
Yeah.
make any sense at all for a wolf to like want to go after male sheep or female sheep more than any other? Wolves,
No, they
if they're
wouldn't know a
trying to eat
difference.
you, they won't. Yeah, they're not going to discriminate. But to a segment of black people, we think that, okay, well, even though I'm a sheep and not a wolf, the wolf wants to eat me more than they want to eat the other sheep, and that makes you go against the other sheep.
Yeah, but I think it's a thing of acceptance too. I feel like there's an acceptance. Those who do seek white approval, that's their way in. So I feel like that's a part of it too,
Yeah,
even though they're racist. Yeah.
that's true. That's very true. Who had their hand up next? JDW. Wait, no. Let me see. Ray. FBA Ray. Did you speak yet?
No, I did not. Go ahead.
Yeah, if people want to speak, so I can keep things in order, if you guys can raise your hand. I just noticed that you just got in.
Mm.
And then if you don't have anything to say, we can go to
Yeah,
JW.
I got something to say for real, bro. It's real serious, man. Because right now, I'm a brother. Like, first of all, like, my brother, my own brother and my sister, they LGBT. My brother was, I never had any real problem with them. It was like I grew up around them, but my brother always knew what he was, and my sister as well. But my real problem right now that I'm having is when we talk about the dominant society is I need support from you guys that right now they're launching secret campaigns where when people went out to when we went to go show up for brothers when they were doing things wrong, like what happened in New Jersey and stuff. Now you have secret flash groups of white supremacists. And these is just regular little white people that we won't take serious in the street. They're running around doing different things to undermine us, attacking us at our jobs. They're getting help from police. We need to really pull together. I'm one of those people that's on that list. They terrorize me, literally. I don't know if you guys, people, the first thing you could tell when you talk with somebody, especially a white person, somebody, if you tell them that something like this is happening, and if they tell you stuff like that still really exists, you better look at them and be like, okay, they know exactly what's going on. I mean, the only way I could fight it, I took a trip to Florida. I took a trip to Florida, and I didn't realize, like, I was, at the time I was going during Martin Luther King holidays, and I didn't realize how I had all these people following me and tracking me, my whereabouts, and everything else. And you have to ask yourself, what is the end game with this? What are they trying? I know some of the reasons why, because I've been a stand-up guy. I beat people in court, you know what I mean, that were alleged white supremacists, and they know you're getting older, you're to yourself, you always were with your family, you're to yourself now, and they figure that they could go after you, and we're not pulling together like we're supposed to. That's why I like the whole thing with the FBA, because it keeps us kind of like grounded, the Black people, who we are, and we need to start sticking together and find some common grounds to be one. Hope I ain't talking you guys to death, but that's really what's going on. I hope you guys will hit me up, follow me on here. I'm new back on here. I really was just the type of person just stuck to myself, but I found myself in a situation where first, that I'm being I'm everything from somebody just hitting my car the other day and them following you, and they have the help of police. If anybody would like to know how and what they're doing, and so you make sure that this doesn't happen to yourself when you're out here. Maybe you went to demonstrate, maybe you went to do something to help or aid somebody, you're a strong person. They're out there doing crazy stuff right now, bro. And I'm in New York.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Everybody needs to be careful, needs to be safe, especially right now. I got some upcoming programs to exactly talk about how dangerous the situation is getting out there. Let's let two cups of tea podcast. You can unmute yourself. Thank you, FBA.
Oh, good evening, everybody. I just wanted to say a comment that was with the gentleman or two that was before me had said that we're losing numbers and we need numbers. I just kind of want to disagree on that because I don't think you need numbers. I think we just need some dedicated people that is going to finish this race with us. If you can't endure, you can leave. You can sit out. If you feel like the other team is the winning team, go over there. Because like Al Capone said, I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies. And I hope everybody has a good night.
Thank you. Thank you. It's about the quality of the team, not the quantity. JDW, you can unmute yourself.
Thanks a lot. I just want to add on about what you said regarding the situation with the Asians and the Asian hate crime bill. Understand that, and Charlie Toreen, he was talking about this before the pandemic really hit and everybody lost their jobs, that they were pushing this narrative back in February. Now, just the cat is out of the bag. I've been informed. I work at the airport. Okay, I've been informed about the situation with the pandemic way before October of 2019. So this was purposely intact. Okay, they didn't expect. However, they didn't expect what happened with George Floyd was going to envelop into a massive worldwide protest slash riot. Okay, they had all these precedents set to go against black people. Okay, at the end of the day, the Asian folks, they hate each other. Historically, they hate each other. Okay, you see what's going on with the situation with Ukraine. Don't be surprised when China invades Taiwan in the next coming months. Okay, let's keep it real, because Taiwan is next. Okay, you have historical conflicts with the Japanese versus the Chinese versus the Koreans, the Japanese versus the Koreans, the Mongols versus the Central Asians. This was going on for hundreds of years. These are conflicts that we have no business thinking of, and
Can
yet
I speak?
we,
But you just put your hand up and I'll let you go when he's done.
and yet
Can
we
I
black
speak?
people still find.
Yeah, if you put your hand up, I can get you next.
Let me finish up. Despite the fact that you know these historical conflicts with the Asians, black people still find a way to be with each other, and it's sad. So now it's come to the precedent now that black people are being targeted
He was
out in the
stripping.
streets. That's why I tell you, brothers and sisters, do not draw too much attention, okay? Because they are keeping an eye on us, and that's all I'm going to say right now.
Okay, now before I let Maddie speak, let me just make a point because the caller, I forget exactly which one, um made a point that I want to touch upon. When it comes to white people or quote unquote non-black allies, and I just had a broadcast about that. So you guys have not done so, you guys can go check my YouTube channel out, Afro Elite on YouTube. The link is in my bio. But these non-black allies, they'll get in, they'll talk good in the beginning, and then next thing you know, there's always a pivot. So what these non-black allies do, they'll say Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter until they gain some credibility. Then next thing you know, they're putting a rainbow in the Black Lives Matter thing. And then they're saying Black and
Ah,
gay
but
lives matter. So they're shifting the focus from racism, and now they're talking about, okay, well, let's not talk about racism, let's talk about homophobia, which is really, let's stop talking about your issue and let's start talking more about my issue. So you always gotta watch the pivot, and they're the dominant society, specifically the left wing, which I don't identify with left or right, because they're both two sides of the same coin, if you ask me. But the left wing does this really good where they pretend to be your friend long enough to kind of get ahead of the movement, then kind of shift the direction. Hold on, Maddie, if you're still on, you mute yourself. Hold on. Hold on. Let me see if Maddie. I don't know if Maddie is still on. Yeah, Maddie dropped off. Maybe the call fell. And so let's let who is? Let me see. Yes, is
Yeah,
yes.
it's
If
me.
yeah, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. You can unmute yourself.
Okay. Hi. Thanks for having me on. I'd like to agree with Eric Allen's point because I was in earlier than I came out. Came back in. Yeah. He's right. Like that. The LGB. Yeah. That side. Those people. The white ones especially. They're very anti-black. I must say. I do agree with that. They say like they see us as very like as a stereotypical. They see us in a very stereotypical way, like we can't do things for ourselves. And
I'm trying to block me out, but check this out, man.
Okay,
Who is talking?
Delhi. I think it's Delhi. But
They
Deli,
don't
yeah,
want me to talk.
his mic is. Hold on, I don't know because I only see one person's mic that's off, so I don't know if it's my phone. But if
Say,
you want to talk, can everybody raise their hand so I can have some order? Because I am gonna put this on my YouTube channel, and they can't really understand because I put the like the subtitles on, and the subtitles get really messed up when you have multiple people talking at one time, so people can't really understand what's being said. So if everybody can like speak one time, I'll get to everybody, but everybody got to speak one at a time. But you were just going yes, yes, if me.
okay. Yeah, I was saying yes, they are very racist, and they do see us in a stereotypical way. They regurgitate the things they read and see online about, like, seeing us in a negative way in the media, and yeah, and I don't like that. Like, they don't see us as we can, like, thrive on our own as a community, and they do use us as pawns as well. Yeah.
Okay, exactly. See, I'm glad we're having this conversation because when I say this before, and I guess we've needed to get to this point because when I've said this before, I was like, oh my God, that's quote unquote toxic masculinity. Every black person is not supposed to be every black man is not supposed to be manly. Everybody doesn't have to think that way. You're quote unquote homophobic for thinking what you want to think or believing what you want to believe. When we see the picture, okay. The thing is that, okay, and like I said in the beginning, I don't approve of any black LGBT person being harmed or treated unjustly or whatnot. We do have that happen, but that happens in all communities. If we're going to be honest, that happens much less in the black community than it does in every other communities. The black community specifically has been more welcoming to the gay community than any other community has. You have gay people in churches and banks and all of these different places. You have gay artists and all that stuff. You don't see that in other cultures of people. But black people, because especially with foundationals, we've always been like accepting and loving and generous people. But the thing is that we see the dominant society trying to turn the black the black LGBT or the black movement in a way to buck break straight black men. When I say that, I mean this is a form of not turning black people gay necessarily, but to psychologically defeat the straight black man, because we are the opposition, the direct opposition to the straight white man. So the dominant society is going to try to, like they did in slavery, and this is why it's important to know your history. The dominant society did this in slavery so they can buck break the black man so he can be less willing to rebel against his slave master. Anybody who knows history, you guys can go look that up. That's something that they did for years, and they would do this in front of other slaves. So when I see um Billy Porter on a when I see Billy Porter on the what that thing called, the red carpet, or when I see Little Nas X having gay sex with the devil, and people and the white people are clapping like, oh my God, that's just so progressive, that's so progressive, just keep doing what you're doing. They're cheering something on that's going to be destructive to the black community. They know those images and things like that are going to play in the psyche of a lot of black people. They're thinking about the long game. And what happens is too many times the black LGBT, they get their feelings caught up in this because they can't look past, okay, well, my sexuality. So they say anything you say that's not favoring my sexuality is against my sexuality. So they can't see the attack coming like we can see it coming. When they were talking about for instance the the baby, right? with the situation with the baby and what he said on stage and whatnot, we was all like, okay, we see it. Y'all sitting up there talking about, oh, let's cancel the baby, let's cancel the baby, let's cancel the baby. We're all like, okay, this is going to be a stepping stone that they're going to use specifically against black men, straight black men. Okay, this is going to be a stepping stone to let you know that, hey, this is the line that you do not cross. They won't use that against a white artist, like for instance Eminem. They won't use the whole homophobia. Oh, I'm attacking anybody who says anything remotely homophobic. Nobody uses that against Eminem or any other white celebrity. But they'll convince the black LGBT to go against black celebrities who've said much less in comparison. That's what I'm saying. They're using you all. They're making you all turn against other black people because you're looking at it like, oh, well, I'm gay and you're attacking my gayness. Like Billy Porter. Billy Porter is literally cursing black people out, specifically straight black men. He's cursing straight black men out. And you never see him take that energy with the dominant society. You don't see him doing that at all. I've never seen him curse out a white man or white people at all. I've
Um,
never seen him do that.
One thing I might add is this as well. If you don't dance to their tune, they try and cancel you and then make you out to be the bad guy. That's another thing that they do. That is very toxic as well, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. JDW, you can unmute yourself.
To touch on Billy Porter, he can go to hell for all I care. Billy Porter has been the most, in my opinion, one of the most toxic representatives for the black community. He has shown so much vitriol for straight black men. It's not even funny. And one thing I have noticed about a lot of gay black men, they have always listened to a lot of black women who have that same vitriolic stance on straight black men. Toreen Rain did multiple videos regarding this, and his what's that series called again? Toreen, Black Ken, whatever it is. Um, it's very sad that we have this type of sentiment towards straight black men, even when we are no longer breathing. And shout out to the great Devin Seals. He called out this integration of the LGBTQ community, integrated with the Black Lives Matter movement, way before Patrice Cullors took over and the other woman, whatever her name is. When I posted a picture of Devin Seals on her one of her threads, she blocked me. She blocked me because we all know what happened, why Devin Seals was killed. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it funky, and that's all I'm going to say.
Thank you, brother. IB, you can unmute yourself. Um, IB, I think that's how you the IB planet. It looks like Saturn. You can unmute yourself. Well, I don't know if I guess he's not available right now. But yeah, let me make this statement clear again. This is a trick that they've been using for years, and it's about time we start calling this stuff out. Because at this point, and the reason why I'm saying this is because at this point, Joe Biden, okay, is giving reparations out to gay white couples. And these gay white couples, and I was just explaining this to another brother the other day, another gay brother the other day. These gay white, the bill is just so vague. They can easily pick and choose who it applies to. If you guys look that bill up, they're talking about, okay, well, you're gonna get this if you were in a relationship with somebody and you couldn't get married. They don't have to prove that they ever even really intended on getting married. They don't have to prove if their marriage would have lasted or been successful. Even the person who even if the partner died, they can still get reparations, even if there's no evidence that their relationship lasted at all. They don't have to have any proof, or any proof that they would get married or get and stay married. They don't have to have that. It's so vague that they can pick and choose who it applies to. And that's the issue with these vague bills and these vague policies, that they get to pick and choose who it applies to. It sounds quote unquote progressive in the headlines, but then when it's applied, it's directly and disproportionately applied to non-black people, specifically white people. You know what I'm saying? So so that's what I'm saying. I see too many black LGBT people out here defending gay white reparations under the bans of, okay, well, if it's gay and you say anything negative about that, you're saying something negative about me. So I have to defend anything that has the title gay in it. Anything that has LGBT, I'm on the front lines to defend it, when you don't know you're defending something that's going to be used against you, because these gay white couples who are going to take that money and they're going to go power white economy. They're going to go power their white neighborhoods and practice anti-black racism. I really need black people to recognize that these gay white couples, these gay LGBT white people, are not any less racist than the straight white people. Okay, they're not any less racist at all. Let's look at Ed Buck. Ed Buck was caught multiple times. And Ed Buck is, I think, a Democrat supporter or a Democrat donor or something. So he has a lot of ties, but he is a gay white male who is caught multiple times with drugged and murdered black men in his house, and nobody wanted to say anything. Nobody wanted to defend the gay black men who were getting killed by Ed Buck. So they don't care about your suffering. The dominant society, no matter what they tell you, none of these LGBT activists cared about the gay black men who Ed Buck killed. So they don't really care about your suffering. They only pretend to when they want you to go out there and march or advocate for something that's gonna benefit them. Let's see. IB, are you still here? I don't know, because you had your hand up for a minute. IB Planet. If you're not, if anybody wants to speak, you guys can raise your hand, and I'll take people in that order. Let me get IB. I guess let me get you off, since I don't know, maybe you're just not by the phone right now or can't hear or something. Um, let's see who hasn't spoken yet. Our brother Dallas Dillon is in here. Dallas, Dillon, would you like to say something, bro?
Yeah, how everybody doing? Yeah, once as soon as I saw the topic and whatnot, the first person that came up to my mind was J. Edgar Hoover.
Good point.
Yeah, J. Edgar
You
Hoover.
said
If
the
y'all don't know
troll
who
man?
J. Edgar Hoover is, J. Edgar Hoover was he was the leader of the FBI. And he's the reason why Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, got killed. Fred Hampton got killed. He's the reason why the Black Panther Party got ruined and whatnot. That's all him. He was a huge racist, a big racist, and he was very gay. Everybody knew that he was gay. It wasn't no secret that he was on the fruity side.
Exactly. And you don't see them talking about, so when they make it seem as if, oh, gay people and black people are discriminated proportionately. They are not discriminated proportionally. Brother, I'm glad you brought that point up. Because he is one of the most notorious racist in our time, in the modern time. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
he's responsible for a lot of destruction in the black community, much destruction in the black community, and he is a gay white man.
Yeah.
So I don't want y'all to think that because somebody is gay, they understand the struggle or they can be any less racist.
Yeah,
This
no.
dude was trying to be in a hall of fame of white supremacy.
Yes, he is in the ring. He one of the ring leaders of the white supremacists. And even if we even want to go way back, a lot of the slave masters was gay. because they used to be playing with black men's penises and whatnot, or they try to have sex with the black man, or buck break them and whatnot. That's very gay. So the slave masters are very gay as well.
Exactly. Exactly. You make a great point.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
nah. So I don't believe that gay people, like I feel offended when they try to say that gay is the new black. I'm very offended when I hear that.
me too. I try to debunk that narrative every time I hear it because that is
Man,
so not true and it's such a dangerous thing to say.
that's very dangerous to say.
Thank you for giving us your opinion. Let's that's brother Dylan over here, always spitting fire. 2 cups of tea. You can unmute yourself.
Okay, I just wanted to say again, hi everybody. Uh, like the gentleman that was before me, FBA Ray, when he first saw the title, he thought of J. Edgar Hoover.
Yes,
When I
Mhm.
first
man.
saw the title, I thought of not necessarily anybody white, but I was thinking of Mustard, like Maynard Rustin and Alan Locke. And during those time periods where you had your James Baldwin and your Langston Hughes, you had two other gay males on their polar opposite, kind of working against what they were doing. And this is not to say that Maynard Rustin wasn't part of the civil rights movement, because he was. It's just that later people interpret history different than how it happened. And I don't know if it's because he was caught up in today's society now of gay is the new black. I know that term is offensive, but that seems to be the idea of the social of what's going on right now. But those were the two that I thought of. And Alan Locke really had that cutthroat mentality that I see in Billy Porter. Like, that man truly tried to cut off Langston Hughes from history.
Mm.
Um, and I guess that's just all I wanted to say, like, just to piggyback off of that idea. And I'm not exactly sure where it's that cutthroatness started from, but that's just something that's endemic in our society, in our culture. No, I'm not. I can't even get it out because it's a lie. Um, but that's who I thought of when it happened. Like
Mm.
when he said he thought of J. Edgar Hoover, and I guess that's all I wanted to say. I didn't want to keep babbling, and so I
No,
hope
no. I
everybody has a.
mean, yeah. You're right. Let me ask a question. This person down here named IB, I let you off and then you requested to speak again. Um, is there something you like to say? Because I can only allow a limited amount of speakers on here, and I have other people who want to speak. So, unless you want to say something, I'm gonna have to let you go. So,
Yeah,
IB Planet, yeah.
I do want to say something. I want to go to the term "gay is the new black." Sorry, I was having a conversation outside my phone. I think as a mixed person that is black and gay, I feel like there's totally this misconception that we are minorities. And when white supremacists or any kind of white person that goes against our rights and our values, there's nothing we can do about it because they're already in a position of privilege and a position where they can actually do whatever they want because um they're being tapped in the back with privilege. I don't know how other black folks feel about our situation right now in regards with us being triggered all the time, especially youth. I'm in a state where most of the people are racist. It's a state where black people have no opportunities, and I feel like there's something going on, especially in the states, where not a lot of us are given the voice to speak about what we feel. That's it.
Okay. Um, I'm gonna let you go real quick because I gotta rotate. I got other people who requesting, and Twitter Space is gonna they only allow a few people to speak. So I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let other people speak, and then you can get back on a little bit later. Um, you know what I'm saying? Because Twitter Space only allows me to have a certain people on. Let me see who had. I think JD. And let me ask a request. If you guys can kind of not be long-winded because I have quite a few people who like to speak. So JDW, you can unmute yourself, and then we'll do Nino Black, and then I think Ramon had his hand up, and then Dylan.
All right, Alpha. I'm gonna speak my piece, and I'm gonna head out. All right.
Okay.
As for J. Edgar Hoover, one word: COINTELPRO. Who started COINTELPRO? J. Edgar Hoover in that
I can't tell
specific
if I'm
FBI task force that he yeah, exactly that he started back in the late 1950s. This he was planning this before 1955, but it started after 1958, and the rest is history. If you don't know what COINTELPRO is, look into it. Coming from a known gay white supremacist. This was a great topic, Afro Lee. I appreciate your work.
out
Take
there
care.
with the gay crowd.
Thank you. I'm not sure who was
Last
talking. If you guys want to
15,
see
20 years.
who is talking, I'm not
Whoever
sure.
Dale is, it's Dale.
Dale. I don't know. On my phone, is his mic is muted, so I don't know how he's making a sound. Dale, if you could please, kind of wait your turn because when multiple people talk, people can't hear, and it messes up the subtext when I put this on YouTube, which you guys should be subscribed on YouTube at Afro Elite on YouTube. But let's go, Nino Black. You had your hand up.
All right, can I be heard?
Yeah.
All right. First and foremost, I was going to apologize for any background noise. I'm driving right now, and it's raining hella hard, so just bear with me. I was going to make a few points. I've been listening the whole time, so I've been making mental note
You
about some things I
can
want to
bring your
comment
own
on.
wife and take her upstairs.
Dude.
Dale,
Okay.
Dale, step down, man, because I feel like
Yeah,
you're having an
I had
outside
to
conversation.
remove Dale because he did that the first time, and I couldn't tell it was him. But now I'm like, no, we're not gonna have that confusion. Keep going, bro.
All right. So a couple things I just wanted to make. I was making mental note as I'm driving that I wanted to comment on. For one, yes, Hoover was LGBT. He was a staunch racist. Also, Baynard Rustin, he was a CIA asset. I know that's not common knowledge, but if you Google it, you'll see articles popping up where the CIA admitted that they used him as an asset while he was being investigated by the FBI. So Baynard Rustin was also an agent. But really, the point that I want to make ultimately is the whole divide and conquer routine. That's nothing new, and I don't want any LGBT people to feel like that we're targeting them because they divide and conquer us on various by various subgroups. I call these people hyphenated Negroes. These are Negroes that are black and something else. Oh, I'm black and gay. I'm black and an immigrant. Oh, I'm black and an athlete. Because anybody who associates anything else equal to their blackness, they're typically the first people to be compromised. And that includes even black swirlers, or I'm black and I'm in an interracial relationship. It's like anything that you identify equal to your blackness is what they're going to use to exploit to separate you from the rest of us. Like some brother in here, I'm sorry, I apologize if I don't remember your screen name. I'm driving. Somebody made a great example about the sheep, like the sheep and the wolf. Like, do you think that the wolf gives a damn if you're a LGBT sheep or not? No, but if you are a type of sheep that is so emotionally weak where you're going to side with the wolf on the basis of being LGBT, then yeah, they're going to use you as far as they can before they devour you like all the rest of them. They don't care if you're LGBT or not. And again, I don't want anybody to feel like that we're targeting you because of your sexuality. But it just so happens that the common traits of people that is being utilized against Black society are black people that are in interracial relationships or advocate for interracial relationships, black people that are LGBT, and black people that are immigrants or of immigrant background. Again, this is not to say all black immigrants, all black swirlers, or all black LGBT are out to get against us, because that is not the case. I can name people from each group that are some of the biggest riders that I know of. So that is not to say that just because you are one of those other people, and again, I call them hyphenated Negroes, just because you're a hyphenated Negro does not necessarily make you an automatic enemy. But I will say that is the common denominator when it comes down to who is being utilized against the rest of us by the dominant society. And I'm myself.
Thank you. The man, great point. And I'm gonna start using hyphenated, yeah, because they put their black and I'm black and I'm gay, I'm black and I'm trans, I'm black and I'm this or that, and the and is always more important to them than their race is, and that's what they use. They use that and part, and they'll say, well, I mean, we should partner up on this part, and that part becomes more important. Now, Elijah, you requested to speak. I know you haven't spoken yet. Before I get to the other people who raised their hands, would you like to say something?
Yeah, I just thought it was pretty interesting. I'm glad, you know, I'm glad that we're talking about this because um, I don't really like to name drop or anything like that. But I was on Facebook and they made a post about. I'm sure we all know about the WNBA player, Brittany Griner, that's stuck over there in Russia. And they
Mm-hmm.
made a post about and said something about how she was queer, and I was like, it's supposed to be one of these black, websites, you know what I'm saying, for black people, and I was just like, what's her sexuality got to do with anything here? You know what I mean? Why is that important? But people started getting in the comments and started chastising me like, oh, they got a lot of punishable laws over there in Russia, LGBT laws, and it's like, okay, that's fine, but you know, how long has she been playing ball over there? It's not like they don't know where to find her. Why is this a problem now? You know what I'm saying? It's like, why bring this queerness up? And it's like, I was like, for all you black folk that are trying to put your sexuality above your blackness, it's going to be interesting to see how this situation plays out because, you know what I'm saying? See how that LGBT shit works for her. You think you got an ally with that LGBT umbrella and you don't. None of that matters. You are black. That's it. They don't care about nothing else. You know what I'm saying? So I just thought that was interesting. And you know what I'm saying? Maybe you need to pick up a book, you know what I'm saying, and read Carter G. Woodson, Miseducation of the Negro, you know what I'm saying? And get some knowledge because that stuff don't work. They don't care about your sexuality. It's that shit dead, you know what I'm saying? But that's all I wanted to say. Thanks for putting me on, Afro Elite, you know what I'm saying? Nice meeting y'all. My name's Rick. For just for future reference, 317 Indianapolis.
Oh, okay. All right, brother Rick. Let me make a statement off that. He's right. They're taking the situation with this athlete and they're turning this into something against like LGBT. They're turning this into like a homophobia thing when her sexuality is a non-factor into her situation, and they'll do that to play like, oh my God. If you see a lot of articles, they'll talk about, oh, this person is black and gay. Like the police are kill somebody, and they'll be all like, the police killed another black LGBT person, when the reason why the police killed that person was because the person was black. The police didn't even have to know if the person was gay or not, and they'll use that because that kind of cushions the racism a little bit to make it seem like that is watering it down, so to speak. Oh, it's racism, but it's homophobia too, and they try to say those two things synonymously to make it seem as if racism and homophobia go hand in hand. They'll even say, oh, white supremacy, they're against homophobia. White supremacists are against homophobia. Now, you will have some white supremacists who are against homophobia, but you will have a lot of white supremacists who are gay, who are LGBT. Like they just brought up uh J. Edgar Hoover. J. Edgar Hoover, right? He's gay, a white LGBT, and he's a white supremacist. But they don't bring him up because that debunks the narrative that white supremacy is against homosexuality. That is not that. That's kind of like the Catholic side of the infighting that goes on. But white supremacy is against black people, the black race. That's it. Let me see who had their hand. I think Dylan, you had your hand up. Then yes.
Yeah, I wanted to add on to that because if you black and gay, if you get pulled over by these race soldiers, by these white supremacist cops, they not gonna see you as gay first. That's not the first thing they gonna see. The first thing they gonna see is your skin color. They gonna see that you are black, and then that's when they gonna gun your ass down. They don't. They not finna shoot you because you was gay. They shot you because you was black. No, we not finna get that. I'm black and I'm gay. No, we not. No, they didn't shoot you because you was gay. They shot you because you was black. Like there was a sister in I think it was Jacksonville, Florida. They shot the pig shot and killed her, and they was trying to make it seem like, oh, they killed her because she was gay. Oh, she was gay, and no, they killed her because she was black. Okay, we not finna get that mistake.
Exactly.
To add on to what Dallas and Afroly that you're saying is that these white LGBT people, they um infiltrate movements as well. Like if we have a cause to fight for, they will add on their bit to our movement, and what ends up happening is ends up devaluing what we're fighting for as well, and nothing gets pushed, nothing gets done for African Americans in general, or even looked into because of that. And I find it like it's not good. And also one thing that they do is the only way for them to infiltrate is that they groom us. Like they say, oh, we know what you're going through, and they read some textbook that has a vague description of what we go through, and then they just regurgitate that. Like they go and listen to the news and just regurgitate that, and they think that that's the tune we all dance to when that's not the case.
Exactly. They don't know your struggle. Like they'll make it seem like they do. Oh yeah, I know the struggle. I know what it like I just put up in the Jumbotron the definition of the word oppress. And it's very important that black people recognize that. Because when they'll say, "Oh yeah, I'm oppressed," so I understand what oppression is like. They don't really get it like that, because the thing is that, and let's just be honest, you don't know what somebody is sexually attracted to unless that person lets you know that. Everybody in here is attracted to something, but you wouldn't know that by looking at them unless they did something to let you know that. Nobody here knows, unless you know them personally, what they're sexually attracted to, whether that's a man or a woman, or even what type of man and woman they like. You don't know those things, so it's not like um a black person walking down the street, people can just tell, oh my God, he's gay, unless he's switching or something like that. When a black person files for like a housing loan or a business loan, they don't ask for the black person's sexuality. They won't know. They're not gonna deny you because you're gay. They're gonna deny you because you're black, but they'll make it seem like, oh my God, I'm living this hard life because I'm black and I'm gay. Oh my God, this is just such a terrible combination to live. Let's see, Chuck, you haven't spoken yet.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm lost on the conversation of not getting a house because you're a color. What I'm not sure what that's about.
Okay, where are you from? I know you're a white person. Where are you from? You're from America, right?
Yeah, my pigment is white. Yeah, I live in Ohio.
Your pigment is what? Are you white?
Yes, I am.
Okay, all right. Okay.
There's many different colors, on Earth. I mean, nobody can really figure that out. But yeah, I'm from Ohio. I live in Hocking Hills. I got property down there. But I was just curious. I mean, I like the dialogue here. But I know there's tons of discrimination. I mean, it happens in different countries, and it's happened for thousands of years. I mean, we know that. I mean, that's just, I guess that's part of life, I guess. But like
Not right, but yeah.
here in America, I mean, we really do. We really have, believe it or not, the best facets that you could, really grapple onto. I mean, that's my opinion. I mean, we really have a lot to offer compared to, you know, other
Well,
places.
that's a great opinion of yours, and that's pretty cool for you to share that. That's really cool. Um, let's see. Nino Black, you can speak.
Yeah, first and foremost, I'm gonna point out the obvious. I know Jay. Jay is such an upstanding man, but I got this petty bone in my body. I'm gonna call out that man who tried to come in here and downplay what we're talking about. First of all, why are you in here? Second of all, when you asked if you are white, we are talking about your racial classification, dude. We're not talking about your complexion. I know people that's classified as white, who is darker than me in complexion. But I know that I'm black when asked, just like you're white when you're asked. And so when you try to play games like that, dog, we know not to trust you off top. I know everybody else in here is gonna probably play nice about it, but they peeped it too. I ain't playing nice about that. So I'm just letting you know that we see you. The second thing I want to say really quickly is nobody in this country has been oppressed except for black people. Yes, you heard me correctly. Nobody in this country has been oppressed except for black people. Everybody else has only been inconvenienced from time to time. I love hearing the excuses. Oh, what about Irish people? Irish people was treated badly too. When they first came over here too, they used to have signs that said no dogs, no Irish. Well, guess what? When the Irish was drafted to fight in the Civil War, guess whose businesses they were burning down? Black people's. Not the people putting up signs telling them that they couldn't fight in the war. LGBT people, same thing. Oh, LGBT people, they had hardships too. It was LGBT people owning slaves. It was LGBT people installing COINTELPRO. Shout out to Edgar Hoover. What other adjective do you want to throw in the mix that you want to say was oppressed? Oh, women have it bad. Women have it bad too. Okay, so why the hell do white women make more than black men? If it's a gender thing, it looks pretty racial to me. Everybody, and then when people talk about intersectionality, well, let's do some math on the intersectionality. Every time the road intersects, have you not noticed it's always at race? Your race is what trumps everything else. And that's all I want to say.
Yeah, I knew that when he talked about, well, I don't understand how, quote, people of color, which is a taboo phrase to use in this. I don't understand how people of color can and I let him speak only because, and he's requested again. You might as well unrequest because I'm not letting you derail this conversation. I want this to be a teaching moment. Do you see how every time we're trying to have a space, and you don't see a lot of drama and you don't see a lot of arguing. You see everybody pretty much getting on code, everybody acknowledging what the truth is and how we need to work together against white supremacy. Just like in my last space, you'll have a white supremacist or a suspected white supremacist come up here and try to derail the conversation, have a conversation that has nothing to do with the subject at all. He wanted me to go. He knows exactly, and I just let him speak while I was looking through his profile. He knows exactly what he was doing, and he came in to speak because he wanted to derail the conversation. He wanted to talk about, oh, well, I don't understand what the housing discrimination against people of color, because he wants to have a back and forth with me. I'm not about to have a back and forth with him. He knows, like Dr. Francis Cress Welsing said, white supremacists play dumb about racism and black people play dumb with them. And I'm not about to play dumb. I'm not about to play dumb with this dude because he's about to turn this whole thing into, I just don't see race. I just don't see race. Everybody gets discriminated. I just don't see race. I think you guys are tripping. That's what he's going to do because he sees that this conversation has been going progressively. This conversation, you don't see a lot of arguing and bickering back and forth. And he's coming in here because he knows he can throw a little, I don't see race and get people riled up and start some drama. But I'm not going to let that happen. Let me see who requested to speak next. Was it FBA or Dylan?
It was me. To Chuck. Yeah, but you're white. Okay, don't try to act like, my pigment is white. No, you're white. Okay, just yeah, and don't try to disrupt this little conversation, this great, amazing conversation that we having. If and talking about, oh, I don't understand. If you don't understand, well, you need to do your own research on your own time. Don't try to come up in here and so we can explain it to you, because we ain't gotta explain nothing to you. And uh secondly, yeah, Jay, I'm glad you brought up the discrimination thing with the black and the gay, and to the other dude that was the yes dude. I'm sorry, bro, I forgot your name. But anyway, he was talking about how the gays infiltrate our like our movements and whatnot. A perfect example of that was 2 years ago when we had the George Floyd protest, and they started putting all Black Lives Matter, or they was putting black and LGBT lives matter. Like, no, it got to the point where they took over the whole Black Lives movement, and it became the LGBT movement. If we want to be honest with y'all.
Damn, thank you. FBA Ray, you can unmute yourself, bro.
Oh man, can you hear me all right? Yeah, what's up, bro? First of all, man, like I always try to keep it a foundation that you gotta understand, man. When you're dealing with that man, when you're dealing with that he said it, but his pigmentation is not as strong, it's not original as ours, man. That's why they want to tear you down. I have there's no one who's been probably been at his lowest point in life and everything. Like I married a woman who was mixed, and her white side of her family, they did things to me that I didn't even think was possible, and they're not even in the same country. And they have more rights here than I do. So you got to always remember, you got to take it back to Elijah Muhammad. You got to take it back to the ancestors, man, of what these people, they are cold. They know how to smile. They run that little game. That little cool white dude that comes and plays basketball with you and thinks he can say a hip hop lyric and thinks he's cool. You got to be mindful of all that shit, man. It's all a game, bro. It's all a
Yep.
game. You are the supreme. You. When we come together, that's the coming together of God, the supreme mind. That's 7.5 ounces of brain, the supreme being, supreme mind of God. That's the supreme manifestation and the physical form. And they not trying to have that because they devils, man. They weak, made weak and wicked. We scared to say it these days. That's why they after me. That's why I had the problems I do. You know, I tried to turn the other cheek. They, bro, I was out here single father for 3 years, and they went after housing, they went after everything, tore me down to the point where a brother was homeless. I come back with a business, new car, everything. They trying to tear you down again. It doesn't matter, and I've always been a respectful person, but it doesn't matter, bro. It's not about that. It's about who we are and what we represent, and together as one, we will take over this motherfucker. And they ain't trying to have it. They'll burn this shit down before they give it back to us, bro. It's a fact. So
Exactly. Now you see, and I said that you see, he came in and he tried to first off when I asked him if he was white. Oh well, my pigment. For I think he said no at first. I think he said no, he wasn't. And I'm all like, yeah, you look well. My pigment is white. This dude, I'm like, so you're white. So the dude is white, and he doesn't want to admit that he's white because he knows that instantly he'll lose credibility. Talking about black issues, you know. And then he came in talking about I don't see anything about discrimination. I'm like, okay, all right. Whatever you say. And they come in, they try to ruin the conversation. They try
Yep.
to stir up, they try
Yep.
to stir us up. They try to, because he knows black people get uh
Yep.
he knows black people used to, foundational black Americans, we used to not be as level-headed as we are.
Yep.
And when we hear white people denying racism, we would just go off like, oh, how you say that? I'm bring up this, I'm bring up this, and then that takes us away from the
Yep.
focus of the conversation. And that's exact. And I looked at his profile when he requested it, so I knew exactly what he was going to get on. He was going to be on, oh, I don't see how black people, I don't see discrimination at all. Or then he started talking, well, yeah, everybody's discriminated. Watch next. His next line was going to be, you know what? And white people, the white man, he's really discriminated against. Y'all think y'all discriminated against? Oh boy, does
All
it
lives
suck to
matter.
be a white man in America?
He tried to all lives matter the conversation. That's why I brought up the example using the Irish, because that's the first thing they love to say about how the Irish was treated. And like I said, the Irish was in here burning down black businesses and neighborhoods and lynching black people, all because they got drafted to fight in the Civil War. So don't try that. Like I said, black people are the only oppressed group in the United States. Everybody else has only been inconvenienced.
And
Yeah.
you can come in long as you against them, long as you it's what my man say, racism is a team sport and everybody's in that motherfucker. Everybody's down with that shit.
Yeah. Everybody's in there. Now, let me see who else was nobody had the hand. Oh well, PC, you just came back in here.
Yeah, I just
So
wanted to. I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, you can unmute yourself.
No, I just wanted to say, man, I'm so happy that black people are catching stuff real time. I always felt some type of way. Like it always took us 50 years to catch something. Like after the fact, like, hey, that prison industrial complex, like they've been running that hustle for the longest, right? It makes my heart so happy that we're catching stuff real time. As soon as it happened, boom, did you see that? Did you see how he tried to, right? So we can keep the energy going how it's supposed to. We can keep the conversation moving in a direction. You know what I'm saying? Like it makes my heart happy that we're wisening up and we can see things real time, right? And not 50 years later, oh, they was running game on us. Like, yeah. But now we starting to catch that junk real time, mid conversation. Like, oh yeah, I already know what he was up to. Yeah. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. We gotta. I mean, the thing is that we've been too nice. I would say first off, we've been very naive and we've been gullible. We've had the thing where well, everybody gets a chance to speak and they're not all bad. Now he left the room. They're not all and he's been requested ever since I took him off, and I'm not letting him back on because I already made my example out of him, so he doesn't need to speak anymore. Um, but we've had a thing where we all need to talk. We need to let them speak, and we need allies, and we need this, and we need that. No, we don't need that. He came over here. He came over here because he know, and he's a quote unquote conservative. The conservatives know exactly that the white LGBT uses the black LGBT. The conservatives will act like they can't stand LGBT, but when you talk about the racism in LGBT, then they come in to defend LGBT. That's the thing. So he came in, he's all like, "Oh, this whole space has been too on code. I gotta do something to throw like a curveball, to throw a monkey wrench in here, and I gotta throw this off." So he's coming in here. Well, I just don't understand the discrimination against the houses, and I'm like, huh? And then he's like, yeah, but there's discrimination everywhere. So he's just really throwing. He's what they call that, throwing everything, throwing the kitchen sink at the wall or something like that. Some analogy that they use for just throwing anything, doing anything to kind of see if it sticks, throwing everything out the wall to see what it sticks. So he was just throwing everything out there just to see, like, man, I hope they change the conversation. If we started getting emotional, started yelling at him, oh, what you doing in here, all that stuff, he would have sat there rubbing his hands like, yep, I got him. Yep, they off topic. Yep,
Got
they
him,
on
coach.
focus. Let me see. Bro Salim, you can unmute yourself, bro.
Black first. What's going on, family? What's up,
Beat
y'all?
me, you, bro.
Oh man, I came in on the back end. Just wanted to, chime in and support. We riding, and I agree with your last statement. The FBA people, the black family, we have been too nice, man. I would agree with that, man. And we on some different shit now, bro. I mean, we showing teeth. I'm okay with being a threat. I'm okay with all the energy to come behind whatever I got to, stand on. I've been okay with it. I've been cool with it. And like the brother was saying, the FBA brother, how he was going through the hard times, man. Yes, it get like that, man. When you out here in these trenches like this and you standing 10 toes down and not fleeing and shit like that, man. FBI came to my home several times about some shit I done said on some of these apps and things of that nature. You feel me? So it's gonna get real out here, family. But yeah, we're not gonna be distracted or deterred or bullied or punked out or bitched out or none of that shit. We running the yard right now. The narrative is on our side. All these other people are copping pleas. Every group copping pleas right now. The LGBTQ The immigrant community, they all catching copping pleas right now, talking crazy, they scared. But we ain't built on no scared shit. That's just the bottom line. You know what I'm saying? But once again, I'm gonna say this. You a young rider, Afro Elite. We ride behind you. Nino, I see you out here on these streets, 10 toes down, every day, all day, and we out here. And I'm done.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Really appreciate. I thought somebody just requested to speak. I guess I guess they was off. But yeah, and here's the thing too. Black people, as far as when it comes to being too nice, black people have been. Hold on, hold on. Let me see. Oh my God, man. Black people have been too scared of having white people dislike them. Okay. Black people want to convince white people to not be racist or to talk them down, to negotiate racism out of them, because they don't want white people to be upset with them ultimately. Hold on. They don't want white people to be upset with them. I made a post earlier, and this is getting a little off topic. I'm gonna just bring this up because it is somewhat relevant. Hold on. I made a post about the gas prices in Ukraine. Hold on. Because I saw on the news, and Biden did a live broadcast on the news, where he said that he's going to ban Russian oil. He says he's going to ban Russian oil, gas, and something else, right? And that's going to raise the prices. Oh my God. Okay, hold on. Ew, man. That's going to raise the prices of everything else. So I made a tweet about that, and here they go. I got a whole bunch of suspected white supremacists in the comments talking about, oh, you don't know how gas works. You don't know how gas works. All of them getting on code. Oh, they're throwing memes at me saying I'm a Trump supporter. I do not care, because I don't care if I make white people mad. I know making that post was going to make them mad, and I don't care. I'm not taking that post down. There was a whole lot of Biden supporters, the Democrat Biden supporters, trying to cape for Biden. Now, when they're mad at Biden, they can be mad at Biden, but they don't want black people mad at Biden. They get on cold when it comes to that. They'll be mad at each other. They'll go in on Biden when they want to. But when it comes to black people saying something, they're like, oh my God, you just don't understand how gas works. Despite the fact that Joe Biden himself said earlier this morning in a live broadcast that his bans will cause prices in America to go up. That came out of his own mouth this morning, and all I did was repeat what he said, and they're talking about I don't know how gas works when it came out of Joe Biden's mouth himself. And they're playing that whole the trolling thing, which is exactly what Chuck tried to do. They come in and they play that little trolling game and try to derail you and throw you off. I'm not I'm not letting that happen. A lot of them I'm just ignoring. And then and that's on Nino Black, we've been saying, oh, y'all know they racist, right? Y'all know they Nazis, right? They're like, huh? A lot of them haven't responded because we got the proof that they're neo-Nazis. So they don't want to respond to that.
Yeah, I DM'd you the tweet that you were talking about that you posted. I just DM'd it to you. If you want to read some of the responses out in real time, because they're blowing up my mentions as we speak.
Yeah, my timeline I didn't think the tweet was gonna blow up like that. I really didn't. But yeah, my timeline my notifications been filled like ever since I made that. I did not expect it to blow up like that. But brother Torian Rain, you can unmute yourself, bro.
I don't know why they love to come and say that we don't know what we're talking about, as if they are the smartest people in the room. And it's kind of crazy considering how our ancestors I'll give you an example. How is it that our lineage taught them how to bathe, but they choose to want to take one or no bath a week, but want to try to tell us about ourselves? I think that's absolutely hilarious to me. And one thing that I always said on my channel, and I live by this in life, is one thing I hate is my intelligence being insulted. If I know what I'm talking about, I know what I'm talking about. That's why when people try to come at me saying certain things. All I asked them to do is just simply prove it. For example, yesterday, not to like shift gears a little bit, yesterday the Supreme Court came back and said that they're not going to pursue anything else when it comes to Bill Cosby in the situation with him. And I put it on my timeline basically saying, okay, get over it, move on, next case. I had some fool, some idiot retweet what I said, and their tweet said, they said he still did it. I just simply tweeted back to them saying prove it, and I did that over 24 hours ago and have yet to get a response. Just prove it. That's all I say is just prove it. And the thing is, a lot of times many of them can't, or they'll go and they'll get some makeshift opinion from probably some op-ed right-wing think piece echo chamber and bring it back as if we're not going to follow up behind it and find out exactly where you got that from.
You make a good point, because they always do. That's a great point. They always do, when they want to stick on code, make it seem like we're the dumbest people. Oh, we just don't know the evidence. We don't know the facts. We don't know this and we don't know that. And they come up with these trolling things like we're wrong and we're conspiracy theorists. And then when we say, okay, well, how does it work then? Like they're saying, I guess when I said the sanctions, because sanctions, if you guys don't know, and I'm not going to break it down that much, but sanctions work both ways. A deal works both ways. If you sanction a country, if you block imports from a country, then you're not going to get it both ways. It's not just going to hurt Putin, it's going to hurt themselves. Biden said this himself, and he said that's going to have prices go up. So I know what I'm talking about, but they're going to say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. And they're sitting up there trying to throw little memes and stuff like that to belittle my intelligence. And then I'm like, okay, well, how does it work then? And they run away. Because what they're used to is black people trying to explain, oh, no, this is what it is. Black people, we need to get out of the habit of trying to explain anything. Like Dylan said, we don't owe anybody an explanation at all. We don't owe them an explanation. If they say something we said is wrong, we like, okay, well, if that's how you feel, prove what I said was wrong, and then watch them run away. Either watch them run away from the question or watch them try to troll. Because that's their next, either one. You can flip a coin, because then they'll just start throwing memes at you or whatnot. Just like that dude. We're talking about how the white LGBT, and we've had multiple black LGBT people come in here and say, yeah, we agree. We fully agree with you guys. The white LGBT, they use the black LGBT as mascots. Gay black men have came in here and they've said that. And he all like, damn, because he's used to seeing black people go back and forth. When he sees us on code, he's coming in, like I said, trying to throw a wrench in the game. He's coming in trying to throw something at the board to get us off track. Brother Salim, you can speak.
Yeah, and speaking of, the LGBT community and throwing us off track, and that whole you don't understand crap. I heard that a lot from Strappy or Yvette Carnell. Like, if you can stomach going onto YouTube and hearing some of those episodes on Breaking Brown, that's all she says all the time. You don't understand politics. You don't understand. You don't understand. No, I'm tired of hearing that shit from her. You know what I'm saying? And she, going back to LGBTQ, she's definitely one of the main detractors that I feel like does that a lot. Go and vote down ballot. Go and do this. You don't understand. She's notorious for that. And I just wanted to call that out and tie that into the conversation.
Look, let me make something very clear to everybody. Donald Trump became the president of the United States. Clearly, it does not take a genius to understand politics. If Donald Trump managed to become the president of the United States, clearly American politics is not rocket science. I hate when people act like, oh, well, you just don't understand. It's just so above your intelligence. It's so above your head. You wouldn't understand. No, it's actually very simple. It's really not that complicated. If you just know one or two things and you can piece the rest together, it's not that complicated. They only make it seem like that to you because they want to make it seem like, oh, we got the plan. We got it going on. You don't see it because you don't understand politics. It take a few YouTube videos to understand what's going on, really.
I mean,
it don't take that much.
It's things that we learned in 3rd and 4th grade. the voting process. We understand that, but we do understand. Let's be crystal clear. What we do understand is not working for Black people. That's what we do understand. Okay, that's what we do know. So you're saying all that to ignore the fact that whatever we're doing right now, when it comes to voting and tangibles, that's not working, and that's a fact. Okay, so therefore you don't understand if you don't understand that voting and no tangibles is not working for us collectively. How come you can't see that? That's what I don't understand.
Great point, bro. Let me see. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I hope I don't butcher it. Um, uh, the brother with the Nigerian flag in his bio. How do you pronounce your name? And then you can unmute yourself. What's your name is Ozaron? Ozaron something? I don't know. Ozarine? I don't know. You can unmute yourself. It says he's connecting. Okay. I guess it kicked him out. We'll let as we're getting him Shepherd Wolf. You can unmute yourself.
Hey, peace and blessings to the room.
How you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I think I'd like to hear more from the panel and political conversations in general about us in terms of local politics, not always global or you know, um, state politics, right? Municipal politics, town politics, where we live politics. I'm from Brooklyn, so the Brooklyn borough president is more important than Biden at the moment, if that makes any sense. The Brooklyn Council is more important. When I'm in Virginia and I'm in towns in Virginia, the local town board and city councils are more important. The local prosecutor is more important. The delegates are more important. For state politics, where you're from, your delegate, your state representative is more important than your president. And the reason I say this is that it takes a while for federal policy to trickle down and for money to come in from the federal government, but municipalities have budgets, and even the smallest municipality of 100,000 people, has $1 billion in their budget, and that money is allocated out to different, things in our community that we need, whether you're a small business owner or it's the roads or it's the schools. And our involvement in local politics is super important. And no matter what the issue is, whether it's, the LGBTQ issues, it doesn't make a difference, or Black empowerment or racism, it just does not make a difference. So we tend to default to this, to the highest level of power in the federal government, what's going on, when we really need to sometimes in these rooms to nail down what's going on in our backyards, like what is going on. And that's one thing I'll give Caucasians a big up for. They're able to come in and get on city councils and school boards and take over Black neighborhoods that are underrepresented, because the Black politicians who are local politicians don't have the same uh, 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 level of support in their communities. Our communities, if you have a church or fraternity.
Yeah,
Yeah,
brother. Can I say
of course.
something? And first off, I want you to know I don't disagree with what you have to say. I don't disagree, but that conversation I want to save for another time. Because we have like a subject here, and I want that conversation because I want to get a panel for it, and I want to address that. You
Oh,
know
no
what I'm
doubt.
saying? And I don't want us to be like we're talking about
All
this
right.
and
Let me
this, and
land
then
on your
10 minutes
subject
later
then.
it's
I'll
this
land
and
the
this. You
plane on
know.
your subject you have at the top. I was trying to tie it in. As far as liberals using the Black LGBT community, uh using them. I mean, all you have to do is go on ProRepublica nonprofit search engine and see what the top LGBT communities are. Go on their board and directors. Just take 5 of them, GLAD or some of the other ones that are available, and you'll see that they're top people that they pay and where the money is coming from is easily searchable. ProRepublica, just put in the LGBTQ communities and go scroll down there, I-9, and you'll see the data on who is actually getting the money and where the pieces of pie go. And it's not to us. It's just not to us. So if you're looking at how these organizations are structured, the white LGBT organization is structured, we're excluded from them too. So yeah, we are used as a pawn to push these issues. Gay is the new black, and some of these other issues that are rhetoric heavy and used to move the masses. Kind of exclude us, and we saw that with the Pink Pussycats, with the trans black person who started the whole Me Too and the Pink Pussycats get pushed to the back. And we saw this with Sojourner Truth back in the days when they pushed her to the back of the women's liberation march in the 1900s. So I land the plane there, but yeah, that's what it is.
Hello.
Yeah, well, thank you, brother. Brother Nino, I'm not gonna be on for too much longer. So if you guys wanna say anything before I go, if you guys wanna catch this from the beginning, you guys can always come back. It's been recorded, and check my YouTube channel out, Afro Elite on YouTube. Link is in the bio. But Nino Black, you can go.
Yeah, I just wanted to glad that you say that because it's gonna be probably my last little comment before I hop off this space. But really, I was gonna say first and foremost, I'm real weary when we're all having a very directed conversation and somebody comes in from out of left field. I can't. I mean, and I don't know this brother, so I don't know what his intentions was. But just my gut always makes me look at those people a little sideways because it's like, dog, like you coming out of here like you purposely trying to derail the conversation, dog. Like, what is your agenda? And then you talking about local politics and all this other stuff, and I'm just like, man, what good is local politics if the people running don't have a black agenda? I know this firsthand living in Atlanta, a majority black city. When I say I live in Atlanta, I live in Atlanta. I live in the city of Atlanta. And even the black politicians out here, they don't even be having no black agenda. So who do you vote? Who do you vote for then? So, but anyway, just to land the plane back on the initial subject, man, basically, y'all just remember you black first before you anything else, man. You black before you Christian, you black before you Muslim, you black before you male, you black before you female, you black before you straight, you black before you gay, you black before anything else. Just remember, you was black before you was a male or a female, just biologically speaking. When your parents got together and had sex and your mama got pregnant, she didn't know she was having a boy or a girl, but she knew her child was gonna be black though. So just remember that. And that's all I want to say.
All right, brother Dylan, you can unmute yourself.
Already, yeah, this was a great subject to talk about. Uh, like the brother Nino said, y'all black before anything. It's always black first. Put black before anything else, whether it's black sexuality, black religion, uh, black anything, black nerd. You're black before anything. And I also have a YouTube channel as well that I'd like to give a shout out to. It's called Dallas Dilly. Y'all go subscribe to my channel. I got a video coming out tonight and whatnot. Uh, and yeah, I'm out. Thank y'all all for listening. And yeah, y'all have a good night.
Okay. Yeah. Well, first off, thank all of the speakers who came in here. Thank everybody who's listened so far. Normally my spaces lately have been lasting like 3-4 hours. I get on here at 5, so a good couple hours is pretty good. About to wrap things up real quick. Shout out to every single last one of you all. I'm glad this conversation stayed pretty productive. Okay, we can recognize, even the black LGBT can recognize that you're black first, whether you want to believe it or not, and don't let the white LGBT use your sexuality against you and against your blackness. Let me see. Kind of coming in at the 11th hour, but we'll let another speaker say their piece right before we get off. Benjamin, is there something you'd like to say about the subject before we get off?
Period, sis. I swear, girl, you was slaying.
Well, thank you, everybody. yeah, thank you guys for being in here. Thank you guys for listening. You guys can check me out on YouTube. Don't sleep on Afro Elite on YouTube. So with that, I bid you all a good night. Well, I'm not going to bed, but I'll catch y'all next week sometime if I do another Twitter space. I might be this week, but I'm not sure. But you all stay y'all stay safe out there. All right.